think the ground is set and the floor is all yours. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Sar. Like everyone was asking, I just want to confirm that I'm pretty audible and you can all hear me loud and clear.
Yeah, definitely. You are audible. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for that brilliant introduction and going through my biography in a nutshell. It's great to be here. I was also a student of Nusa Senior Secondary School, precisely in Science 1. And our class was called 12S1, the exception, because we have so many exceptional skills. But, you know, we were not alone in it. All previous batches up to date, Nusrat has always been one of the best in the Gambia, if not the very best. Good to be here with 46 other people to take you through your STEM pathways. I've prepared a couple of slides, but this conversation, be rest assured, will be as practical as theory have it, because at the end of the day, what is science without application? So that is what I hope to take you through. I was given a time limit of 20 to 30 minutes. Hopefully we will not need all that, or at least we should not pass 30 minutes to have this interaction with all of you. And I'll be happy to take questions later at any time that we have a slot for questions and answers. Let me share my screen. I haven't said that already. Yeah. All right. One second. Who is in charge of the webinar? I'm not sure what your Google platform is doing. It's like, let me see, I just hope I'll be able to. Let me stop sharing and share the other one and see.
Yeah, but this one was visible though.
Yes, but I could not navigate between the slides. Like I could not go to the next one. I'm not sure what happened. Let me try this one and see.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I will do the entire screen. That might work better. One second. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes, definitely, sir. We have seen it.
Okay, good. All right. So, well, let's start it. Unlock your STEM future. What is STEM? Even I know we all know what STEM is: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And sometimes people don't really get it when you talk about STEM. But everything around this world revolves around these very areas. Whatever we talk about today, the future, when we talk about yesterday, today, and tomorrow, it all lies within here. It's either going to be science and today, technology, engineering every day, and mathematics yesterday, today, until the end of time. Because, you know, all the basic sciences, biology, physics, and chemistry revolves around this very mathematics. Without mathematics, today we will not be having this presentation, because the computer algorithms are built on the digits of 0 and 1, the binary configuration, and that is actually the very basics of mathematics. When we talk about pathways, I always tell people that one of the most important endeavors of students is that you want to go to school and you want to have a career. Now, whatever you want to do is left to you. I think it that I'm speaking maybe 95 or 99% or even 100% of people here are Gambians. And that is why I said in my first point that in the Gambia and beyond, you know, STEM will open doors to innovation and growth. Wherever you are in India, in the United States, or any part of the globe, it is your passion that will help you transform communities. You know, in my biography, I did not capture one of the things that I'm doing currently. It is because currently I have a company that is registered in my name. I am the chief executive officer and also the founder of the company, but I collaborate with people all over the globe. I have like top research scientists here in the United States, in Indonesia, and also in Canada, whom I collaborate with to help in data ed. So we will get to that, but that is also, part of the opportunities that we think today's students can do. You have to help us solve challenging problems back in the Gambia. You have to help us solve challenging problems all over the globe. And I started it with myself. I've always been talking about STEM careers, and I started with one. Today, it's very demanding in Gambia. As I speak to you, a lot of institutions are already reaching out to me. They want me to train their staff in capacity building, but also they have tons of information that they want to make do with. But without science and technology, it cannot be done. I will take you through that a little bit when we get there. With engineering, you can build a brighter tomorrow. We know today, if you go to the developed world, I live here in the United States, in New York and New Jersey, to be precise. If you are here or wherever you are in India, you will see that without engineering, there wouldn't be all those buildings and all the edifices that you see and all the beautiful environment. And if you take inspiration from where you live today, it is going to be easy for you to build a brighter tomorrow. Because if you compare where you come from in the Gambia and where you are today, you will see a massive gap. And it's because of that inspiration and the knowledge you are seeking today, you can go home to make a difference. But whatever you learn in classroom, you have to something, and that is why that's what number one is applicability. You must be able to apply it. Not all the theories you learn are useless. Sometimes you do certain theorems in mathematics or in physics or chemistry that combines to give you the engineering. You'll be wondering where this is applicable, but in due course, as you start, or if you begin your practical world, and that is like when you start working really, then you will and begin to see the importance of all those theories and you can apply them. But whatever you learn, ask your professors, ask them where is this applicable and what can we do with this. But I know today, all these things are a Google search from you. But experience teaches success. There is nothing more or nothing better than when you ask the people who are teaching you, what can I do with this particular set of theory or theorems? So the opportunities are abound. We go to labs, you do research, you do presentation. Sometimes we are just doing it for the sake of my grades, or maybe for the sake of, I want to complete a certain assignment, but that is not it. When you go to the real world, like I am today, you begin to see the meaning of all the things that you have been doing. I work today as a data architect at Keystone Industries, one of the best here in the United States. It's a manufacturing pharmaceutical industry. And then I am in the technology area where I lay the foundations and the pathways for all the information that comes in, be it finance, be it design, or anything that have to do with data. I'm in control of the system. But it all starts from when you are doing today at university. It all starts from the seriousness that you are putting into your work. It all starts from the assignments that you are completing. When you start the real work, then everything will start clicking in and making much sense to you. And I include this quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, who said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Dream big and you're going to do it. I've always been dreaming of creating companies, and today tons of ideas always come to me. As I speak to you, I'm registering my second company. I have two. One is Data Analytics and Education Consulting Group, of which I'm the leader, and another one is a partnership called Data Research and Education Institute, and this is going to be 100% community services. So we're looking into both ways. One is business. Of course, we have to make money, but then also another one is to serve the community. And I will encourage all of you, whichever way you want to see yourself, try to come up with startup ideas where you think is going to impact our communities, and please endeavor to do them. Careers, within and beyond academia. Obviously, if you want to stay in academia, I will tell you, take your academics very seriously. If you can hit that GPA of 4.0, do it. But minimum, you need 3 point something to, usually in most areas, to go and do a PhD, so that at least your academic commitment and also looking at your grades, sometimes that is what encourage professors to bring you on, and your research experience as well, because doing a PhD is also going to be mostly about research, industrial ideas, research ideas, mostly in theories as well, in teaching and advanced knowledge. So if you want a career in academia, you can do a PhD, you can do a master's, and even beyond, and then you can stay in teaching is very important, because it is usually the foundation of all this knowledge, and wherever, be it law, the arts and humanities, teaching is usually the very foundation. So there is a big career in academia if you want to stay there. Yes, engineering firms, tech startups, and environmental projects. Today, people are talking about climate change, the weather, and all that. So it goes up with the engineering and then your love for the environment. So if you want to go in that area too, and you are studying something of relation to such, take it seriously, and you're going to need it. And I've seen, I don't know, the president who introduced himself as one of the guys studying aeronautical engineering. That's also very important. It would involve research, it will involve technology and a lot of things. But, you know, I think there is someone already to speak about something related to that. So I would leave it at that. The impact. I remember a couple of months ago, I had a debate. I was invited to talk about the importance of information, especially with regards to Gambia's current situation, knowing very well that our country is at crossroads with given that the 2026 election is at the corner. But there is so much information in the Gambia that needs to be analyzed, and that, you know, has to be surrounded with honesty and truth. And when you look at the impact here, I say solve local challenges. And one of our challenges is not only sustainable energy, but it's also the information that people are fed with. And today, that is why data is very important. People can go and lie in the streets and lie in to our people in the villages and in, you know, other remote areas. But you today who lives in a world where every information is just right before you, you can always verify those information and make sure that they are accurate. You know, you can generalize, but I'm not a big fan of generalization. I like specifics. If I want to say that Mustafa is 16 years old, I'm not going to generalize that and say that he might be 20 or so. I want to be as accurate as possible and say he is 16. If something is hot, I would say it is hot. I'm not going to mask that or sugarcoat it. And so I like speaking with facts and based on numbers. So we have a lot of societal challenges, but the most important, you know, is also sustainable energy. We know how much wreck NAWEC is causing in the country. We have engineers today. You guys are studying in India. So we hope that in the near future, our engineers, our data scientists, our teachers, our researchers will come to rescue the Gambia. Little by little, progressively, it is on. But, you know, hopefully, few years to come, it will be a thing of the past. And yes, the quote right below, your skills can bridge gaps and create jobs right here at home. I've just created data analysis and education consulting group. I'm on the verge of registering data research and education consulting group. Sorry, data research institution. The data research institution is actually inspired by one of the researches I've done here in the United States in 2024 when I won the research award from the university. It was because I did a maiden research for the government of the United States, which they saw as one of the first of its kind. It was a maiden research. They have never done something like that. When I was approached with the ideas of conducting such a research to build a benefit cost analysis model for their real projects, I did it, and then the government likes it. And then, you know, today I can't say of those researches because they are very confidential, and, you know, it is also being filed as I have to sign what we call non-disclosure agreement. I can talk about it that I've done something very great that the government of the United States is proud of. So if we can do it here, if you guys can do it in India, and I'm doing it here and other parts of the world, I see no reason why we are not going to create it in the Gambia. And, you know, currently I've employed a couple of people back home. I paid them as per project. I have projects, the advisors, the people who work in admin areas, the people who help in collecting information. They're all getting paid, and I'll still call myself a student, you know, even though I'm working as a data scientist. So I hope someday my brothers here, my sisters here, and fellow Gambians will be able to either do startups or join companies, but in the long run, create jobs. That's where, you know, everyone can feel safe and it can make the country a great place. Emerging fields of today and tomorrow. Well, what we talk about today is technology. And when we talk about technology, what are we talking about? Artificial intelligence. And AI is not human. AI feeds on information. AI feeds on data. Today, maybe if some of you just put your name, the basics of AI that everyone knows is just ChatGPT. If you put your name, Idrissa Sarr from Gambia in ChatGPT, ChatGPT might tell you that I don't know about that. I don't know who Idrissa Sarr is. Maybe that is because you have limited information in the internet. So you could see that. But if it's a person, you put your name, I'll tell, oh no, I know Idrissa Sarr. He's from Gambia. He, you know, went to, I don't know, maybe Nusrat 2021, something like that. I hope that's right. But what makes artificial intelligence so good is that not the basics. If you engineers, I'm talking to scientists, what makes it so special is that you know how the algorithm is built on machine learning, on programming and all other types of programming that we have. It is built to use search engines and fetch information. And that's why when you ask AI question, it is able to do it very quickly because it is with such a high precision level. So if you are an AI will help coding, AI can help you boost your ideas, AI can help you, even you can verify information. Whatever comes from AI is not 100% accurate. So you should be able to use it as a stepping stone and not as a final destination. So when using it, use it wisely. We have a lot of emerging fields coming up. Aviation, someone we talk about that I believe so. And then today, I see this world as this century or this day as the day of science and technology. Technology is taking shape. Even the work that I do currently for Gambia, I provide pro bono services for Gambian politicians where I inform them about the inaccuracies in our electoral data. When it comes to elections, I also talk to them about the facts on the ground, about different politicians, about different numbers, about different constituencies, about how IEC are doing stuff here and there. Without sophisticated knowledge in technology is going to be very difficult, because what do I rely on? I rely on the information that is out there. Then I will write programs to investigate that information, to make it visually appealing, and then take the facts out of it and present it to our people. There is no other way to serve the people than giving them accurate information so that they can make informed decisions out of that. So, make use of these opportunities and make so that you are making the best use of it. If you go to buy, health and food security, you know it. Those things are there. It only depends on your interest. Whatever interests you, read about it, try to seek opportunities, in turn with global institutions or within India where you are. Look for institutions that are interested in that. Look for academic departments that are interested in those areas. Try to gain first-hand experience in internships, and then you will be good going forward. Robotics is also really there today. People are using robots. People are using and drones and all that to deliver food, to do a lot of works here and there. People are even using robots as even securities. So you are in engineering, you are in the practical world, make best use of it. Try to do as much work you can in the lab to give you the basic skill sets so that when you are ready to go bigger, it all becomes easy and you will be part of the story and not history. Mentorship and continuous learning. This is very, very important. Some people don't go to school. Some people don't attend lab sessions. Some people don't do much, but they have good mentors. If you have great mentors, you will be on a path to success very easily. I, for one, I am so good at building relationships. And that is why it doesn't matter where I came from in Kandongo village, where I'll bet that most of you don't know, maybe Mustafa does. Okay. Yeah. So mentorship is really important. Today, when I go to Gambia, I'm being, I don't know what's the word that Donald Trump used, braggadocious about it. I think I know a lot of people in the country. I can go up to the higher ranking officials and so on. That is because of the relationship that I have with them. Today, I have a relationship with professors here, with presidents of universities, with top CEOs of different companies. If I want to see them, it's just a phone call away from me. I think someone needs to mute their mic.
Is it Binta Jallo? Can you unmute yourself? Binta Jallo.
Yes.
Can you
Mute
unmute
your mic. Okay, yes. So having mentors is very, very important. I do a mentorship program where like people will come to me. I can either mentor them or push them to those that I think have careers or have expertise in those areas. Today, I think some of I have a lot of mentors in Gambia, from the statistician general of GBOS, Mr. Nyakazi MB Sanyan, to Esa Mbaifal. Everyone knows who Esa Fal is in Gambia. He's also one of my mentors. We have a good relationship. He guides me in a lot of things. Also, Abdurrahman Jallo, who is the director of legal affairs at Gambia Revenue Authority. I have mentors in Dr. who is one of the executive officers at a university here in the United States, and tons of mentors in the Gambia. So it's good to have mentors. When you have them, they're going to help you in your training. They're going to coach you and give you direction and support. And that is what matters. Sometimes it's because you have mentors, it's easy for you to learn a job. Because if you come to me today, if I'm like your mentor and you come to me today that you are applying for a job, I can give you all the tricks, all the hints, and everything that you need to say that will get you to the interview stage. And when you make it to the interview stage, I can tell you things that you need to do or say that will also land you the job. And when you get the job now, you have to be the master of you should be able to carve your future from there. So mentorship is really, really important. If you do not have a mentor, please try to find one. Like I said, your STEM journey, if not already, I know, you can start it today if you haven't already started, but I know you have started because most people here are already university students. And what matters as well, I will talk on this before I go to my final slide, is that when you leave university right now, it's, people in their final years might be struggling to get internships. Actually, after graduation, I graduated with a lot of people today who are still unemployed. It happens, and it will be a matter of employed. But try to build your skills on practice as well. While you're being an engineer, you don't have to look for money today whilst you're doing your undergraduate or master's at the beginning, in your junior year, in your final year. Try to get into an internship program where you can do some work. From the internship, you might be lucky to get an employment from there, because if you do well, normally, every company hires yearly and bring in associates, bring in juniors, bring in fresh minds to their companies. You could be one of those. If you're in India and you are interested in going back to Gambia, immediately contact companies in Gambia, contact institutions in Gambia, go for an internship in the summer. When you do that and you do well, they would love to retain you, but be it non-government organization, parastatals, or even the central government. You can join them and later you can go and study again and then come back and serve the country. But you can also take inspiration from a lot of people, come up with startup ideas, do your startups, later apply for loan and build your company, and you will be good going forward. But practical knowledge is very, very important in the scientific world, be it how you use AI. I don't pay attention to people who just write crap or just ask AI any information. I'm referring to technologies, I'm referring to engineers and people in the practical world. Use AI wisely and it can help you do a lot of work. Invest some money in AI. If you have higher subscriptions, put it in, and those ones are more reliable. They can help you do a lot of work, and it's only a matter of time before you will also become another global icon in the field of science, technology, and engineering. On that note, I will say thank you on behalf of Data Analytics and Education Consulting Group, of which I am serving as the Chief Executive Officer. It's good to be here with you, Team India. Thanks a lot.
Wow, wow, wow. What a remarkable presentation that was. It's funny, but I feel like coding the whole night today. I mean, indeed, I'm truly inspired. And I can now confirm everything that Kodia used to say about you. I mean, he'll be like, Touba Marrie, correct guy. Yeah, I can confirm what he used to say. Indeed, you are a correct guy. To cut the story short, thank you so much, Mr. Touba Marrie, for that insightful and inspiring presentation. We truly appreciate the depth of knowledge and experience you have shared with us. Once again, merci beaucoup. With that being said, I will hand it over to my co-host, Mr. Modulamin Cheng. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Idris, thank you very much. And indeed, what a wonderful presentation that was from Mr. Touba Marrie. Touba Marrie, as someone from Nusrat Senior Secondary School, especially S1 2021, Idrissa was my classmate back then. We have always had the name Touba Marrie, Touba Marrie. And at some point, I think you even came to one of our classes, you were invited, So thank you so much, Touba Marrie. Now, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute pleasure to take us into the final and perhaps most thrilling part of today's season, a topic that's very close to my heart, and you all can guess that. It's aviation. Okay, our next speaker is someone I truly admire, not just for his passion for flying, but how he continues to inspire the next generation of Gambians to aim higher, quite literally. Before I invite him to take the floor, allow me to share a brief biography so we can all appreciate the incredible journey behind the name. Mr. Ousman Ceesay is a flight operations officer at the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, an Aviadef Africa ambassador, and is currently pursuing his professional pilot training in Kenya. He holds a Bachelor of Engineering in Aeronautical Engineering from Northwestern Polytechnical University in China and is a licensed private pilot under both the UK and Kenya Civil Aviation Authorities. As an Aviadef Africa ambassador, Usman actively contributes to advancing the continent's air connectivity agenda while mentoring and inspiring the next generation of aviation professionals. He is a member of the International Federation of Airworthiness and Aero Club Ibagay in Senegal. Reflecting his deep engagement with global and regional aviation communities, Usman is also a proud recipient of the International Federation of Airworthiness and John Saul Memorial Award. He shares his flight training on TikTok, where he has built a following of over 35,000 through the short form content he educates, motivates, and brings visibility to aviation careers, particularly for young Africans like myself, Sajo Eke Jaju, and all those who aspire to be in this field. And with that remarkable background, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ousman Ceesay to share his insights on how aviation fits within STEM fields and the opportunities that lie ahead for Gambians in the exciting industry. Mr. Ceesay, the floor is yours.
As everybody has asked before, am I audible as well? Or should I use the aviation term? How do you guys read?
Yes, you're audible. You will copy that.
Okay, so good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot speaking. I'm really honored to be invited by you guys to come and speak to you about my journey, about the challenges, the opportunities, and some of the pathways into getting into this field of aviation, especially as a Gambian. So for me, I didn't choose the site to do a presentation because I want this to be more interactive with my moderator since he's also an aeronautical engineer. So I'll just let him flow with his questions. And then after that session, we'll be having an open floor for the audience also to be able to have the opportunity to ask any questions they want. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ousman Ceesay. Yeah, that is what aviators do. We love to do things differently, and to have that engaging and great discussion. It will be great to start with this. We just don't want to be in a classroom. We want to be in a global audience where we inspire and let everyone know about this great field, since it is this niche in the Gambia. Yes, to begin with, we are going to ask Mr. Ceesay his journey in aviation and how, So, Mr. Ceesay, your journey in aviation has been truly inspiring, from aeronautical engineering to becoming a pilot. Could you share what first inspired you to choose aviation and what has been your biggest motivation along the way?
Okay, thank you, Mudlamin. So, my journey in aviation started with passion. So I've always been passionate about technology, about planes, how they walk, how they fly. So basically, when I was graduating high school, as we all know, aviation training is super expensive. I'll come to that in a bit. So I decided, okay, how can I get into this career? So I decided, okay, let me just go to uni, do aeronautical engineering, and see where that takes me. So I started with doing uni. I did my aeronautical engineering degree in China. When I completed that during COVID, it was very tough times. I used to have online classes. There was time difference as well between China and Gambia. So some of my classes used to be 12 a.m. As you guys living in India would understand, like the time difference as well. And then from there, before completing my university degree, there was COVID. And then I was in Gambia during COVID for holiday. So I couldn't go back to China, and classes were done online. As I said, because of the time difference, classes were also at night. So during the day, I was just bored. So I was like, why don't just go do my private pilot license? So that's what I checked schools. I checked schools in Africa, and I saw there were the two top places to do flight training in Africa is Kenya and then South Africa. So I had a tough choice to decide which one to go to. Then I end up finding myself in Nairobi to doing my flight training. So that's how I did my private pilot license, and I happened to do both at the same time. I did my final year uni while I was writing my thesis, while I was just doing my private pilot license. So after finishing my private pilot license, I also graduated uni, and then I wrote a thesis on aircraft structural health monitoring using deep transfer learning. I will come to that, and I would connect it to something that Touba. Yeah. So after that was when I joined the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. So the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority has a body that is responsible for regulating the aviation industry, doing audits and inspections. So I'm part of the Flight Safety Department, which has the Flight Operations Unit, which has pilots and cabin crews responsible for oversighting like safety within the aviation industry, regulating the aviation industry, and all of that. Thank you.
Yes, that is truly inspiring, Mr. Ceesay. It's always powerful to hear how person and purpose fuel such a journey. Now, since our team today connects STEM and aviation, let's talk about that link a bit more closely. So, Mr. Ceesay, how would you say STEM education plays a role in shaping successful aviation professionals?
So when we talk about STEM, I think aviation itself is based on STEM. Is like the root of aviation is STEM, because when we talk about how planes were created from the Wright brothers, when you talk about STEM, it's science, technology, and mathematics. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So the science part, we all know about the Newton's first laws, the Newton's second laws, Bernoulli's principles. These are the theories that binds like why planes fly. So that has just shown us like the science part of things. So now then we talk about the engineering part of things. So people would talk about aeronautical engineers, but we have electrical engineers in aviation. We have mechanical engineers in aviation. So there's some specific companies that deal with building engines of aircrafts, and then most of the people that work in these companies are mostly mechanical engineers. And then you have structures of the aircraft. We have material engineers who also deal with like the structures of aircraft, how they tend to improve what is happening, moving from aluminium. Some of the guys studying aeronautical engineering would know some of this, moving from aluminium to composite materials. So that is also like subdivided. That's so we have everybody is like in it. And then now you have the mathematics side of things. So in aviation, we know like everything we do is like based on calculations and stuff. So that's how the mathematics comes in. You need to calculate your fuel, you need to calculate your weight and balance, you need to calculate the distances, that all of those things that you needs calculation. And then technology. Nowadays we have something called avionics in aviation. And most of the guys would still agree with me, the guys doing aeronautical engineering. So what happens is technology also is also into aviation, because we have all these systems, the avionics systems, wherein they will give what is happening. We can also detect malfunctions, and then it can be outputted in those systems. So this is how science, mathematics, engineering, and technology all contribute in aviation. It's like the fundamentals of it. So I think like we cannot have aviation without STEM. So just to put it that way.
Yes.
Like I mentioned, like I mentioned, like when I was just to give an example of how a growing technology has, as when I was starting my uni days, there was no AI. So when I was about to graduate, I had to write a thesis based on deep transfer learning, which is something I've never done. So the evolution of technology within that 4 years has given me the opportunity to write on something that has never, like I've never attended any AI class or any of those sort. But then technology has evolved. Now we are using AI to detect structural damages in aircrafts. So that's the new technology now, rather than visually just detecting damages in aircrafts.
Yes, very well said. And I think that's something every student here can relate to. We have around 3 aeronautical engineering students here, and joining me with this Ugandan brother, who's also an aeronautical engineering student. Yes. So speaking of students, many young people dream of becoming pilots, but often don't know where to start. Could you walk us through the general pathway from choosing a school to earning that first pilot license?
Okay, so becoming a pilot, as many Gambians would think, is something very difficult. I would say no to that answer. Is it impossible? It's not also impossible. If I can do it, everybody here can do it. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So in aviation, we have 3 different licenses. You have the private pilot license. This license enables you to be able to fly, but without getting paid. It's like you going to a driving school, getting a driving license for your car, to drive your personal car and to drive your family around. So that's how the private license works. So the private license helps you to be able to fly your family members, to fly for fun, and to fly to build your hours towards your commercial pilot license. So the second license we have is commercial pilot license. Let's say, for example, the taxi driver needs a commercial license to be able to operate his taxi, to be able to carry passengers. So that's the same in aviation. We have the private and then we have the commercial. So you need to get the private to gain entry into the commercial. And then the private is what is going to give you the opportunity to build those hours, because as aviation is based on like what was basically saying, like you need hands-on, you need like practical experience. So aviation is based on practical experience. That's why pilots need to log their hours, because experience in aviation is based on how many hours you have. It's not how many years you've worked for this airline, it's how many hours do you have on your logbook. So the private pilot license is going to give you minimum of like less than 100 hours. But then now you need, in certain countries, depending on each country's regulation, you need almost around 200 hours to be able to get your commercial pilot license. So the commercial pilot license enable you to work for an airline, a private charter, the small companies that fly, or even the bigger airlines. But then now we have another license on top of the commercial license, which is called ATPL, which is called Airlines Transport Pilot License. So once you have your commercial license and then you are now already in the airline or in the company, to become a captain, it requires a certain number of hours for you to get, a certain experience for you to get, which is why we have the Airline Transport Pilot License. So this also requires you in most countries to have 1,500 hours, like flying hours that are locked. But then these hours are also subdivided. Are these night hours requirement met? Are these instrument hours met? Are you the like pilot in command during those flights? So these are some of the experiences and some of the different licenses. So these are 3: private pilot license, commercial pilot license, and airline transport pilot license. But then now we also have 3 different pathways of how to get these 3 licenses. So there is a modular path, and then there is integrated, and then there is the university path. So let me start with the university path so we can all understand. So one thing that a lot of people don't understand is becoming a pilot doesn't require you to have a degree. It's like how driving a car doesn't require you to have a degree. All you need to do is go to a flight school, do the required training, and you'll be licensed by the Civil Aviation Authority. Like in Gambia, you just go to a driving school. Once the driving school is certified, is satisfied that you're eligible to get the license, they write you off, and then you go to the Gambia Police Force. They issue you a driver's license. So that's how basically it is in aviation. But then now, most companies would want you to have a degree. They don't care which degree you have, but they want you to have a degree. So that's why they had the pathways of university pathways. So you have universities wherein you would go and you do your degree, and then you get your pilot license at the end. So what happens is you're doing 2 things at the same time, but you don't really need a degree to be a pilot. I say that again. So what happens is you have your degree after graduation with the private pilot license, commercial license, from the same university you've done your training, because some universities have a flight school, or they have a flight school they're affiliated with. You would have to go through the process of getting a degree. Probably sometimes some universities, they give you an airline transport, air transport management degree. Other universities, they give you a degree called aeronautical science, which is different from aeronautical engineering. This one has to do with most of the principles of flying, not anything engineering. So that's the university part, and then it's the most expensive part, and then it's not offered by a lot of universities. It's just few universities around the world that offers this type of training. The second one is the integrated training, which is mostly offered in Europe, and then most European countries. Now, few African countries have started issuing that type of training as well, which takes you from 0 to being ready to get into the airlines. This is about 0 to 18 months. Sometimes they mention 2 years, but it's like getting you your private pilot license, your commercial pilot license within an integrated program. What happens with this part is you do all your training in one school and you do all your training in one country. And then it's the second most expensive part. It can cost almost about $100,000, or in the UK it can cost almost £90,000. So that's the second part. I've talked about the university part where you get all your license with the degree attached, and then now this is the integrated part. This part you only get your commercial pilot license, or if you're based in Europe, they call it frozen ATPL, because you need that 1,500 hours to get your airline transport pilot license. And then now I'll talk about the last part, which is modular, which is the part I took. So the modular part is subdivided. So what happens is you get to do your private license in one school. You're not required to, okay, it's automatic that when you finish, you have to do your commercial pilot license. The agreement is, okay, I'm here to do my private pilot license. Once I finish it, I finish it. I can decide to go to another school to do commercial, or go to a different country even to do my commercial training, and go to another country also to do the different ratings that are attached to it. So what's the benefit of that one? That one, what you can do is you can pay as you go. As we all know, aviation is expensive. So the modular program gives you the eligibility to be able to do a pay-as-you-go program. Like, for example, when I was in uni and then I was bored in Gambia, I was not able to do anything. I couldn't afford to pay the integrated program because it's expensive. So that time I could only be affording like private pilot license. So I did my private pilot license, and then after that I had to go find a way to get the commercial pilot license. So those are some of the advantages of like the modular program. You do it at your own time. You can even be working and then be doing it on the side. But now that's the difference. The difference between the modular and the integrated. The integrated is you are a full-time like student, and it's a full-time program, and payments are done in like in full by most of the schools. It depends. You can have an agreement with the school. But the modular program, you can even go to a school and be paying per hour, while you're still getting your hours. So these are the three main parts of becoming a pilot, or getting into becoming a pilot, which is the university. It gets you all your license and your degree. The integrated, which is only getting you your commercial license, but it's an integrated program. It's a faster way of becoming a pilot and joining the airlines. And then you have the modular. The modular part is wherein you do everything at your own pace. You get your private pilot license. You can do in Kenya and then go to the UK to do commercial, or go to the US to do commercial. You can go to South Africa to do commercial. Everything is in modular is done at your own pace. I hope this is well understood.
Yes, very well understood. And I think that definitely clears up a lot of doubts for aspiring pilots like my roommate. he is someone we call pilot one in Varsat here. You know, everyone calls him that, and I think he's living up to the task. Yeah. So yes, but for those who are still in school or university, especially studying science or engineering, it doesn't matter like what engineering they're studying. What specific STEM skills or mindset do you think are mostly valuable in aviation today?
So let me give an example. Yeah, I know we're talking about STEM today. Yeah? Just to motivate some of you that want to be pilots here, you don't require to have a degree again to be a pilot. You're not required to. I know in Gambia how high school is divided into sciences, the arts, and the commerce. My boss, my manager, is a pilot. He has a commercial pilot license. He has a degree in aeronautical science. He did arts. Yeah, but I would say the foundations are basically mathematics and physics. Even if you don't do biology, but you would still find it along the way. It's all a learning process. If you missed it in high school, you will still learn it here. So it's just the mindset you're going to have. What mindset do you need? Problem solving, decision making, communication, teamwork. Because aviation is like collaborative decision making thing. Yeah, you have the pilot collaborating with the ATC. You have the ATC collaborating with the ground handlers. It's like a teamwork to make it happen. To have a safe flight, it's a teamwork. Like you need to have that mentality of being in a team and having a teamwork, making critical thinking. So those are some of the basic skills that you need to have to become a pilot. The skills are more important than okay, the basic mathematics and physics. You still need that, but then you don't need them. Like you don't need to be a physicist to. It's not. I have a friend who always says it's not rocket science. Flying a plane is not rocket science. All you need to know is the basics of physics, the basics of mathematics, and have all these skills like problem solving, critical thinking, decision making, and be a team player. These are some of the most important skills you need to have to get into aviation. Not just being a pilot, with ATC, with engineering, with ground handling, with everything aviation. You need these skills to work in aviation.
Yes, and that is very insightful, and it's true. You definitely like the engineering there and the mathematics that we need in depth relies behind those who truly builds those planes, and those are the aeronautical engineers, the mechanical engineers, and everyone. So as Usman constantly reiterated, you don't need like a degree specifically to become a pilot. So if you have that one, that has done food nutrition in masters, you can still become a pilot for someone that did commerce and everything. So yeah. So when it comes to turning dreams into realities, especially in Africa, there are often a few extra hurdles to cross. So Mr. Ousman, what are some of the main challenges Gambians or Africans in general face when entering the aviation industries, and how can this be overcome?
So when it comes to getting into aviation, I've mentioned before, aviation training is super expensive. The cost of aviation training can be so expensive. So one of the most challenging thing that people face in Africa is funding. There is funding, there's access, even visa restrictions. Yeah, and then but then things have now changing, and then people are recognizing talents in Africa. So that has now has been changing like the narratives. So with these challenges, like I don't really think they're like okay challenges that you cannot overcome. Like everybody can overcome these challenges. It's just few challenges. It's just, and then these are not challenges only limited in Africa. It's like I've met people who are doing aviation in other continents, and they're always telling you about these challenges, especially the finances, because it's expensive. But then what do we need? Like what helps you as a Gambian to overcome some of these finances? Is like the mentorship you're going to have, like the network that you're going to build. Like Touba has mentioned earlier about networking. Networking is really important, the partnerships as well. But then all of these things, there's one more powerful thing to have also, which is government support. Because some of these careers are super expensive. I used to tell people, if there was a place in Gambia that offers aeronautical engineering, I would rather do it there and go all the way to China to study aeronautical engineering. But then there's not that much of government support. But I think we will get that with time as well.
Yeah, those are such practical and encouraging points, Mr. Ceesay. Now moving to a broader perspective. In your view, how can the aviation sector contribute more to national development and create opportunities for youth empowerment?
Okay, that's a good question. I know some people will be thinking, okay, Gambia doesn't have an airline. How is aviation gonna bring anything here? What blah blah blah. But see, the thing is, I don't know what are the numbers, but they always say one of the contributors to our economy is tourism, and one thing is the fact is tourism goes hand in hand with air transport. Yeah, if we have a big tourism market, and then we have access, and then planes are flying into Gambia, a lot of airlines are flying into Gambia, and then people are having it cheap, that is gonna bring us a lot of socio-economic development. Why? Because you see, employments would be created, because in aviation it goes beyond being a pilot or an engineer or an air traffic controller. We have aviation doctors, we have aviation lawyers, etc. We even have the farmers who contribute into aviation, because that salad that you've been served 30,000 feet above ground was from someone's farm. The ground handlers, the guy transporting logistics, the guy transporting those produce from the farms to the airport. All of these people contribute to aviation. So there will be significant employment, and then trade also. It will facilitate trade, because, for example, we can export things between among ourselves, even in Africa. If we have like aviation, we can even export. If we have domestic like air transport, we can export things from the provinces to the city, even transport sick people. Because, for example, if you, I don't know, most of us that live around the Banjul Birkama highway, we normally see ambulances from Bansang. We normally see ambulances from Basse transporting sick people. And then what happens is you find that, I don't know, there was a time on the news I saw, okay, one of the drivers transported a sick person all the way to Banjul. They got back, they were tired to even transport another sick person, another patient. So once you have aviation in place, it's easy to fly someone from, let's say, Basse to Banjul. It makes life easy. And then all those other employments also are created. Like, everybody sees themselves in it. There is the aviation lawyer, as I mentioned, the aviation doctor, even the farmer that is producing the salad that will be served by the cabin crew. Like, these are some of the impacts that aviation brings in a country. And coming from the Gambia, where we say tourism, like, is one of the contributors to our economy, I think we need it, and it's gonna bring a lot of tourism. So one thing I would say here is, without mentorship, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because when I was getting into aviation, I had a lot of questions. Because, as we all know, we don't have an airline. Like, most of us cannot tell you, okay, I know this guy, he's a pilot. That time I was trying to get into aviation. People ask me, which pilot do you know? I'm like, the only guys I know are the people working for the civil aviation. Because there was no pilot who was visible, who was there to even motivate people. I've met people that are older than me that said, okay, oh, I wanted to be a pilot, but I don't know how to go. I didn't know how to go about it, so I end up doing computer science. I wanted to be a pilot, I didn't know how, so I end up doing this, I end up doing that. So mentorship is very important. Touba has mentioned this here, and he has given examples. Mentorship is really important, because if you have a mentor, what happens is, wherever you're gonna step in, they've already stepped there already. They can tell you what is there, what are the challenges, what are the things you need to face. So it guides you through a proper channel. That's what mentorship do. So that is why I'm an introvert, but at some point, like, I started posting my aviation journey online, and I started receiving a lot of messages, a lot of feedbacks, and it was a lot of positive feedbacks, and people started telling me, you have to create content. That's how we get motivated. So I'm like, okay, I need to keep on doing this. So that's why I also put my journey out there for people to see, for all the Gambians also to have motivation on this journey, on how to become a pilot. There's more of that also will be coming soon, because sometimes also, but then I still try my best to find time to put those things out there, to try to talk to some of the young guys, and then to see how, like, I can be their motivation, to inspire them, like, to do careers in aviation, careers in aeronautical engineering. I mean, without motivation, it's difficult to get there. It's very difficult to get there without motivation, without mentorship. Mentorship is important. Like, it's the guidance. It's like the car you're gonna sit in. It's gonna drive you to where you wanna be. But if you don't know the way, you don't have a navigation, you don't have anything, you're gonna get lost. That's how mentorship is very important.
Yes, mentorship is something really great. And I remember a few of our interactions. I used to ask you, are there other aeronautical engineers back there in the Gambia? And you've constantly told me that and all that. So that's how I get to connect with this guy Arona and all those other guys. Thanks to you. Okay, so we have other guys here, that are really, they have just, like how you say, some people wanted to be a pilot at some point, but since the opportunities were not available, they just diverted to computer science. I have many of them here, and with me today is Daniel Mendy and all those who really aspire to be pilots someday. That was beautiful said, and I'm so a lot of our participants today are feeling even more motivated. So before we wrap up this, Mr. Ousman, was on a high note. And remember, and I've been asking the comments in my WhatsApp to so that you can take us through your journey with a visual that we can see how it works and everything. So yeah. So what message would you like to leave with young people who dream of taking their place in the skies?
So one thing I would say is do not let fear or the circumstance limit you. You see, it might take time, it might take a lot of time, it might take a short time, but then just believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself. And then one thing Touba has mentioned earlier is and I was having a conversation with one of my mentees that I was talking to yesterday, and I told them this: one thing you have to focus on right now is what you're doing. Don't, like there's this meme online that says, colleagues, money would come, and money would come one day. Just focus on what you're doing right now. It's really important. Focus on today. That is what is going to build the future of tomorrow. I know our generation, we just want it chap 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 chap, but this industry requires you to be patient, yeah, perseverance, and believe in yourself. That is what is going to get you there. But money will come as long as you've done what you do at the right time. Money would come.
Yes. So before we wrap things up here, thank you very much, Mr. Say, for those inspiring words. It's truly been an honor hearing from someone who not only talks about aviation but lives it every single day through your videos, your contents you've said online, and everything. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in appreciating Mr. Ousman Ceesay for sharing his insights and encouragement with us today. Thank you so much, Mr. Ceesay.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the invite, and then I'm always available to some of the guys that are studying aeronautical engineering, to some of the guys that want to be pilots. Even if you're studying, I saw someone sent food nutrition or whatever, you can still become a pilot. Even if you're a farmer, you can still become a pilot. In the US, farmers have their own planes. Even here in Kenya, farmers have their own planes. They fly it to their farms. So you can always become a pilot.
That will take us to the most engaging part of this seminar, because I know people have already started jotting down what to actually ask Mr. Touba, Marrie, and Mr. Ceesay, of course. So we'll open the floor for a question and answer session where you all participants can share your questions. Alujo is it's already. Can you say you can share your questions, thoughts, or reflections with our speakers? Thank you so much. So we will handle the question and answer session here. So if you are directing a question to a speaker, or if you want both speakers to actually answer the question, you can just mention it. You understand? So if you are also not very comfortable with speaking up with the mic, you can just type it in the comment chat. Or for those of you that have my WhatsApp numbers, you can just send me a text, so that I can inshallah read them aloud here. And also, you have for some of you might also have Idrisa's number as well. Or I think the most effective way will be either to raise your hand, then we will take you there, or you can just type it in the comment box. So yeah, we will start from there, inshallah.
Okay, Mr. Mulaminjan, can I come in?
So please come in, please.
Okay, I have a question though, but my question is open to either of the speakers, or both of you can share your ideas. Yeah, my question is like, what do you think are some of the ways in which we can bridge the gap between the academia and the industry? Talking from experience, I mean the little experience I have and the little knowledge I have gathered so far. Right now, like I'm already in third year. I did a lot of programming languages, ranging from C++, Java, Python. But like I realized at the end of the day, like if I were to depend on the stuff that were taught at school, at the end of the day, like I'll not be able to do anything. The thing is like they don't teach you anything. I mean, the applicable side, So to cut it short, like what do you think are some of the ways in which we can bridge the gap between the academia and the industry? Thank you.
That's a great question. If Mr. Ousman Ceesay wants to take it, he can. I do have comments on it, but I will allow Mr. Ceesay to comment first if he does have anything to say.
Okay, like
Okay, I just wanna.
the question is open to both of you. I will even suggest that maybe both of you can share your ideas so that like we can learn a lot.
Yeah, so I would just there's one thing that Touba said earlier. I will just talk about a bit on that, and then I will let him elaborate. So he has mentioned internship, and he has told some of you guys about practical experience. You see, internship and mentorship, these are some of the things that would bridge the gap. Have mentors. Some of you guys are not on LinkedIn, or you think LinkedIn is a place to go find a job. LinkedIn is a place for you to network with the people that are already in your industry, that are gonna tell you what is happening in your industry, that you need to learn from. So these are places that you need to be, and then you need to connect with these people that you need to connect with, the right people in your industry. But internships and mentorships is what is gonna bridge the gap. To elaborate more on that.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mr. Ceesay. And for the viewers, don't really mind me. I'm driving to New York, going to pick a friend who is arriving by an airplane that Mr. Ceesay was talking about. So, before commenting on that, I want to say thank you to Mr. Ceesay for coming in and, taking us through the journey of aviation and the importance of it. Definitely, if Gambia can invest before all you see all these millions and billions that are going missing in the audit report, these monies can be invested for something to build a sustainable future for the country. And one of that is that we can have aviation, centers like mini airports they can have helicopters. When people get sick in Bansang or whatever, instead of going through that damn traffic in Gambia, you can just fly over everyone and go to Banjul. It's just so quick. You will save lives, you will contribute to health and so on. So there is so much that can be done. Unfortunately, I don't know if we are having the right people at the helm to be able to do that. And then it's everyone's priority, it becomes everyone's business to make sure that the Gambia is in the hands of the rightful people, so that all these dreams that we are talking about, you would not know it today. Until later you go back to Gambia, you want to either work or start your own company, then the hiccups and the hurdles that you will come through is when most of us will know how important leadership and having people the right fit for the job are in those positions. And then coming back to the, bridging the gap between academia and industry. I think the distance between academia and industry is called practice. That is the distance. You were talking about JavaScript and all the things that you want to do. Try to make so whatever area you are in, being it engineering, being it data or another research area or practical science, write programs to solve problems. The programs that you are using today, imagine a problem in your head. How do I do this if I want to do that? Try to write programs to solve those problems, those imaginary scenarios that actually are very practical. That is going to get you the dream jobs that you desire for. And internships are equally important. Those are the things that are going to bridge that gap. Because when you finish school, when you graduate and you apply for jobs, most of the things, they see your good grades, they're happy with that, bravo, fine. But then what can you do for us? Because this is no longer do assignments for us or solve quadratic equations or solve, all kinds of theories and so on. This is no longer an academic environment. This is no longer theories. It is now time for seriousness, and that is the practical work. Now you have to see what I've learned in universities, in laboratories, how do I put that into the real world? That is the gap that is there. So that is why when you do internships, when you attend seminars, when you conferences, when you try to write to people on LinkedIn, try to open your LinkedIn accounts. If you don't have, build your professional profile, go there, look for people in the areas that you are, write to them nicely. Hello, my name is this, I'm a Gambian studying in India. I've seen that you are a master in this area, A, B, or C, and I'm inspired by your career. I'm inspired by your journey. I'm inspired by what you are doing. Would you please mind, being my mentor and sharing some things with me here and there? Build those professional relationships. Maybe those are CEOs, those are, employers. They can actually bring you on board when you need it. But come up with that curious mindset so that you can bridge this gap between academia and the industry. But like doing a lot of practical works and projects will take you very far, because if you even want to work for me today, data analytics and education consulting firm or data research and education institute, either of those, I would be interested in what can you do. When I launched the company in Gambia, relatives and so many other people reach out to me, hi Touba, we want you to, bring us on board. But my question is, what can you do for us? If you are not telling me, it doesn't matter your degree, I'm not interested in that. If you tell me what you can do for us, then we are bringing you on board. And
flight right onto the New Jersey 73 South.
Exactly. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, try to put those theories into practice. Write programs to solve problems.
New Jersey 73 South for 1.5 miles.
If you are confused about how to do that, just send me a message, send me an email. I am happy to. I think Mustafa Ceesay, actually, Mustafa, I would say some of my contacts with you, like email is better. If you send me a text message or a voice message, text message better, I will respond. Voice message, it will be there for the longest time. Even 3 seconds, I hardly respond to it. So, reach out to me and I will tell you exactly, what you can do in practice to do this kind of stuff. So, let me leave it at that. I can talk for the next 3 days without stopping. So this is time bound. So I will leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of you. So next we'll proceed to, I think Ali Job first raised his hand, so we'll take him inshallah. Ali Job, you're welcome.
Hi, colleagues, how are you doing? I trust you're all fine. I know Touba will be wondering whether Ali have now moved to India or what. Touba, I'm sleeping though, but I had to attend this program, So
I'm on the way. I'm taking you to the airport. I'm on the way.
Okay, all right. First of all, I would like to congratulate the president and the entire executive of Indian Student Association for coming up with this initiative. These are very, very important things. And these are some of the things that we always encourage young people, wherever you might be around the world, to be engaged in, to be very productive, to be very active in your socio-economic activities. To go into my submission, I'll be very, very brief, because people have been sitting for a long time. So I wanted to congratulate Ousman. Ousman, today we have learned a lot, and whenever we have seen Gambian people making headlines around the global trend, we are always proud to actually celebrate those individuals. You made mention of something here which is very important, and I wanted to highlight on that. That has to be focused, right? We have a very distracting society or generation. People are very, very eager to make headlines, to be famous, to make money, to do all sort of things. And at the end of the day, you become distracted. My colleague who is doing computer science made mention of doing C, C++, Java, Python, and other programming languages. And at the end of the day, you become confused, because if you do Java today, the next day, if you are doing Python, you might forget about what you've learned in Java. And one thing that is certain is what you need to focus, right? You need to give it all, 100% your education now. You can work little to make, just to adjust certain things, but you're not in haste to save millions for now. You got to give it focus 100%, and then you'll be able to do something at the end of the day. Like Touba said, you can acquire 1 million degree. If you are not practical in those areas, nobody's going to take you seriously, and nobody's going to hire you. You can just come with your big code, big grammar. If they have given you data to analyze it, if you cannot actually write simple code by using SQL to analyze those data, nobody cares about you. So you must put energy, resources, and focus on what you are doing right now. Be conversant with it. When you open your mouth, people have to celebrate you. If you know that is not your area, then go and look for something else. The same thing is happening in the Gambia. But I think the speakers also forget something. Not all these people that are here are going to be living in the United States or UK, whereby you talk about, career alignment, the alignment to the market. Take example as Gambia. Gambia, whatever you've learned there, if you're in the Gambia, it's very hard for you to maneuver, for you to be able to have job in that country, regardless of whatever you've learned at the end of the day. So there's a policy problem. And that policy problem needs to be solved by the people in governance. Like Touba said, whether we have the right people to actually handle those matters. There are millions of dollars that they spend it otherwise. And just to be brief, I think we need to do more engagements, especially students in India, students in China, in UK. You know, talk to your people back home. Let them engage embassies for them to give them scholarship that is going to make our young people to learn a very productive areas. You cannot send our people to go and learn development studies in UK or United States or to go and learn environmental science. We don't need that. Those things are window dress courses. They are meaningless in our society as of now. We need more people to become pilots. We need more people to become architects. We need more people to become medical doctors. But if they are giving you a scholarship to go and learn Chinese language in China, or for you to go and learn, let me say, even economics at some point, I'm not trying to downgrade that, but there are misplaced priorities. These are some of the things that we needed in our country. We need our people to be more productive. We have hundreds of doctors here. Touba today, if you have to Touba at G-Boss today, you will hear something else. You will see innovation, you will see so many things, but it's not going back. Who want to go back? There is no motivation back home. Nothing is there. Nobody's going back. We must change policies. We must be ready to engage. We must be ready to tell the Chinese, look, we don't need that symbolistic diplomacy between us and you people, trying to be very cosmetic with the way you are dealing your things. Allow our people to go and learn medicine. Pay 1,000, who is going to pay $10,000 to learn, but to become a pilot? Nobody has that money. Nobody has that money in that country. Whose father is going to do that? So to sum it up, let us focus, let us push hard. Our parents have been suffering. A lot of us, majority of the Gambians, came from poor background. People that we are celebrating today, their fathers were ambassadors, their fathers were diplomats. The SR fathers died, the Mariam Sina, the TRRC, the Horija Baragate, those people, their fathers, they were rich. Jawara wasn't prioritizing education, and they were able to learn. And some of us who are opportunity to be able to send to abroad for us to learn, we must focus. We must focus and get something. At the end of the day, go back home and do the needful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Aliu. You've really highlighted all that was to be said. So, yeah, we will proceed to the next question. Mr. Ousman has raised his hand, so please, Ousman, welcome. And for those of you that have some questions, please write them in the chat box and also raise your hands if you want to come. Yeah. Yes, Ousman.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon. Am I audible?
You're audible, yes.
Am I? Okay, thank you very much. I have a single question, but before I ask the question, I would first like to express my happiness to join this meeting today. Of course, I would like to thank Teresa for informing me about this. He's one of my close friends from the same village, attend the same nursery, primary, and junior school together. So we've known each other very well. So I'm so happy, to be in this meeting today. I feel it's a great privilege for me, an opportunity, to communicate to some of you here with vast, knowledge and understanding of so many things that are happening in the real world out there. Okay, so I feel this kind of, meetings should really, continue on every, now and then, because I feel it's very important. Okay, we have so many young, brilliant minds out here in the Gambia, in the senior schools, who have great dreams of becoming great in the future. But most of the time, we realize that they lack the information that they need. The most, I feel the great thing, the most important thing that is lacking here is the information. Yeah, so many of us, here, we get things the wrong way, we perceive things the wrong way. Since we are young, we have been believing that, to become a pilot, you require probably 12 years of learning. Also, you might have to learn all the languages, across the globe. So that kind of tension in your brain tends to make you believe that this is not my area. So having to hear, these inspiring informations, I think will go a long way in helping, the younger generation choose their careers wisely. Yeah. So the question I have, of course, my name is Ousman Jallo. I am currently in my final semester at the University of the Gambia, a major in physics and minor in mathematics. I have great interest in aerospace engineering, even though still now I've not have clear information in how I would dive into it. But this is why I feel attending this meeting today will really be helpful. See Mudlamin, who is an aeronautical engineer, and also seeing that my Touba here, Ousman Ceesay, being flight operation engineer, officer, probably might also have information to share on that regard. So my question is, as a physics graduate or mathematics, physics and maths graduate from the Gambia, how can one transition into a master's program in aerospace or aeronautical engineering in India or other countries through STEM pathways? So that's the question I have. If there is anyone of you who can be able to answer it, maybe you could please help me get the idea.
Thank you, Tom. So I think basically you were just you just mentioned you are doing your degree in physics and minoring in mathematics, if I hear you well. So the transition should be very easy because you already done physics. So it's everything aeronautical engineering is basically physics in different ways. So I think you can be able to get a scholarship to do that in China. The university I went to is called Northwestern Polytechnical University. They offer a lot of scholarships, a lot of different scholarships, because they're one of the they're the number one aeronautical engineering university in China. So they got a lot of funding from the Chinese government. And then I think by next month or December, the applications will be open. So I'll just put the name of the school down, and then I'll also put my contact down if in case you have any questions or anything like that. Or you can get my number from Mustafa as well, or Mudlamin. But I'll put the name of the school down so you can check it out. They have different specialization, especially for masters. So you can check out what they have. And I'm pretty sure you can 100% get a scholarship, a scholarship which is like 100%.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Usman. I hope your doubt was clarified. Okay, Idris, you told me that you have a question from your DM, so bring it on.
Okay, I guess this question is also open to either of the speakers. The question goes like this: STEM includes so many different fields, and sometimes, even if you are already interested in a particular area, but as you go along the way, we find ourselves interested in multiple areas at once. What advice do you have for choosing a path that aligns with our strengths and passions, especially when we are still exploring? That is the question. So I think it's open to either of the speakers.
Yeah, take that.
What was the question again? I missed it.
Okay, let me read it again, right? Good. It goes like this: STEM includes so many different fields, and
Yes.
sometimes even if you are already interested in a particular area, but as you go along the way, we find ourselves interested in multiple areas at once. What advice do you have for choosing a path that aligns with our strengths and passions, especially when you are still exploring?
So let me just put in few words. I think Tuba also would want to add something. So I used to help a lot of students get scholarships in China. But one of the problems I used to have is when I ask you, what do you want to study? And you tell me you don't know, it's always difficult for me to help you out. Yeah. So one thing is you need to find a path. You need to find what you are passionate about. Because once you are doing what you are passionate about, you enjoy doing it. Like, I don't know, some of you guys that are on my social media, you see all my posts is about airplanes. I enjoy everything aviation. Like, what I do is planes. The other day I went to my barbing salon. The guy was like, every time you come here, you have to watch 2-3 videos on aviation while you're waiting for me. But today you're not. Why? I'm like, I'm actually reading about aviation. I'm not watching it, but I'm reading it. So life becomes boring if you start having multiple interests, and then it's just gonna be overwhelming for you for no reason. Just focus on one thing that you love doing, and be consistent doing it. That's like the secret. That's the goal. That's the key. Just one thing and then focus on it. Be consistent, and then that's it. But having multiple things, it's like someone mentioned here, like his friend that is learning C, learning Java, learning HTML, is just gonna confuse himself. So I think it's just better to stick with what you're passionate about, what you love doing, not what your parents love for you, but what you love doing. That is the key. That is the key to it. Maybe Touba want to add something to that.
Thank you, Usman. Well, exactly, it's focus. Sometimes people, one thing for certain, your potentials or your ability, whatever you want to learn, you can. At high school, you can do arts, commerce, or science. That doesn't really matter. You can go to the university to study something else, but you also have to know that every university you go to, every learning institution have their requirements. Every course that you want to study, including aviation, have their requirements for that particular institution where you want to study it at. So if you are confused about what you want to do, then you are actually not ready for it. Because you need to be clear first. This is what I want to do, and you go for that. After high school, you go to the university. If you are mistaken that maybe you are studying medicine and that's not the path for you, I wonder why would you spend 8 to 9 years only doing the first degree of medicine when you are not interested in it. After 2, 3 years, you are not interested, leave and go and study something else. But when you even finish your bachelor's, you are still not sure of what you want to do. Well, you have to wait until you know what you want to do. Because if you go on your dad, ask you to go study something else, your parents or someone else, but that is not your desire, then life becomes very boring and uninteresting to you. I've seen when I went to NYU, there was this student who actually is just not going to graduate because when he went up to the second year, he said he doesn't know what to study. His parents asked him to do computer science. He's not good with programming and he's not good with maths and those stuff. So he's failing the computer science courses. I told him, bro, like, forget, don't listen to your parents. In this case, only do what you think your heart desires, what you think you can do. Stop taking courses that you have no future in, or you don't want to do. You are doing it on behalf of your uncle or someone else. So to answer your question, generalizations are fine. Your skills are only limited to what you limit it to. But in terms of a career path, you need to have a focus on that. Wherever you want to study that area, wherever you want to go to look at their requirements and then try to follow the you will be able to do it. Apart from that, you definitely can't fly in every direction. You are only going to fly to one destination at a time. If you want to go to England, you can't be saying, I'm going to England, the US, and Gambia at the same time. That can't happen. It has to be one place at a time. When you arrive there, you do what you want to do. You want to change your destination, then you change. And you arrive, you want to change, then you change again. That's what you can do in the practical world. It's only in academia where you can study law and then also study development studies, and those things are aligned. But in the practical world, for a career, you have to focus, you have to be specific. Otherwise, you'll be missing the point. So that's my contribution.
Wow, thank you so much for your responses. I think we have learned a lot. So I will not do justice, without complimenting the non-executive council, because like both speakers spoke about something that is mentorship. I think mentorship is very, very important. So I will not do justice without, complimenting the non-executive, because like they came up with an initiative, which is like mentor-mentee relationship. So what they do is like they attach a mentee to a mentor. So in that, like let's say for me particularly, if I'm doing, I'm doing computer science, so they will attach a mentee to me who is also doing computer science. So you will see like, because for me, I felt victim, of lack of mentorship. Like when I came here, I tried to contact, my seniors, but like the problem was like I did not have anyone from the Gambia who was doing computer science in my state here. So when I came, I tried to contact other students from other let's say other international students. So but their responses weren't that much positive. So I was like, bro, I'm from Nusrat. And the Nusrat lifestyle, they are so much obsessed with this marks. So I'm like, bro, I think at this moment, I just have to focus on the grades. So I was so obsessed with grades. So before I realized, I'm already in my third year. So I just said, one day I spoke to my friends and I realized that yeah, I have to log in. So that is it. This mentor-mentee relationship is very, very important. You need mentorship in whatever you are doing. So sometimes the person will be there, but you need to be guided. If not, like you might go astray, or you might, yeah, that is basically it,
Yes, thank you so much, Idrissa, and that says it all. I mean, about the even the person thing, like person without mentorship can be quite frustrating, because at some point you find yourself that you don't have any pathway or any dynamics that you're going to follow, and in aviation we say flight path. If you if you don't have your flight path before departure, you end up like deviating things can happen. So yeah, as long as the person is there, you need someone that will be guiding you along. That's why I made no mistake contacting Ousman and Aruna and all those people that are that have done aeronautical engineering and now pursuing their professional flight trainings. So yes, we will take questions from Abdurrahman Fati. Yeah, welcome. Sorry, I hope
Yes,
you guys have time, because people are still asking questions, and I hope our speakers are have some time to have some free time. If not, we will just entertain some more questions, like one, two, then we close it there. So you can tell us your availability, inshallah.
I mean, I'm heading to the airport. I don't mind being here for some time. Later, when I know that I'll be unavailable, I'll let you know. Then I will leave. But I can dedicate the next 30 minutes. I'm fine with that.
How about you, Usman?
Yeah, I'm also fine with the next 30 minutes. But as you guys also have our contacts, if anybody have any further questions also, like, they can always reach out.
Yeah, right. That's true. Okay, Mr.
Yeah.
Abdurrahman Fati, please welcome. Please welcome.
yes. Assalamu alaikum. Am I visible and audible? Am I audible? Sorry, please. Okay, so for me, my question would be directed to Usman. First of all, I just want to thank the Council and Gambia as a whole, and also I want to thank Touba and Usman. Your presentation was really inspiring and motivating for us all. Okay, so not wasting time, going directly to the question is, all of us, most of us are from Gambia, I can say, and we know Gambia, like most of us are struggling financially. So before, like for us to study aviation, you have already mentioned the past, and financial problem is really a challenge. So I just want to ask you, what are the alternatives that students who want to study aviation or pilot that are in the Gambia can do? Like, what can they do in the Gambia? Let's say I want to become a pilot, but I don't have money to go and study outside to go through all the three parts that you mentioned. So, what are the things that I do? Do I have to go to study mechanical engineering in my bachelor's? Then, if I have scholarship, then I go, or in my master's, I can go and specialize in aviation or piloting or whatever. So, please, I would really like you to answer the question.
Was it Aliu?
Abdurrahman is Abdurrahman.
Oh, sorry, Abdurrahman. So that's a good question, because we all know how Gambia is, and then raising that type of money in Gambia, it's a lot. But then, like I mentioned before, like there's that talent acquisition in like Africa that is currently happening, and then there's a lot of opportunities opening up for young Africans to get into fields in aviation. The International Civil Aviation Authority is working with their partners to be able to provide a lot of capacity building, a lot of aviation training for young people, especially young people from developing countries. So what I would say is, it depends on what you want to get into in aviation. If you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a pilot, if you want to be a ground handler, the goal is just focus on what you have at that point in time. For me, when I graduated high school, I couldn't afford to go to flight school because it was expensive. But what I could afford was to get a scholarship to study aeronautical engineering in China. And then I was able to do that and focus on that at that time. Until when I graduated, that's when I was able to do my private pilot license. And another thing is, the government also is trying to support in when it comes to this, because the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority has a department called the Flight Safety Department, and it needs pilots to be inspectors there, because the inspectors there, one of the requirements is for you to become a pilot. So they are trying to also do some funding for some Gambians to be able to get their private pilot license to all the way to their commercial license, so they can be able to come inspectors. So there's also that, but that is limited. It's not like like you can be able to get it at any point in time. But there are scholarships also open in other airlines that you can find. They might be very difficult to get, but then with partnership, collaboration, and then networking, it's like very important to network. Like you never know where your next opportunity lies. So always network with the people in the industry. Always ask questions. Always check for what is the what opportunities are available. Because sometimes there are scholarships, especially the Qatar government also is now giving a lot of scholarship to African students to get into aviation, which comes as well through the civil aviation. So we are working also on some of these things, and then getting scholarships also in engineering is also something we are working on. So don't let those finances like be a limitation to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Usman. Thank you so much, Usman. That was really great. And yeah, Usman is still raising his hand. I think you have. Do you have some questions, Usman? Okay, we are still entertaining questions. If you still have some questions to ask, you can ask them. Yeah, Mustafa, before you come in,
Oh no,
Usman,
no, no, no! I
wait.
just forgot the
All right, all right, all right. Thank you so much. Okay, yes, I think Saja is coming up. Okay, Usman has a message. Like the guy was like, how much do you pay? Are you the guys that pay for your fuels when you are training or something like that? Maybe you, the guy a message just popped up. He was asking a question directed to Usman. He was like, do you guys pay for your fuel when you are taking that training, or the institution you are training pay for space for the fuel when you are going for your those flight expos that you do around?
So what happens is that power. Let's say, for example, you're paying $150 per hour. That's for you to come to the aircraft and just fly with the instructor. You don't have to worry about fueling or any of those things. But then there are some other parts of the training wherein maybe you want to bill your hours and you're doing that in the UK, which is a different case, or in the US. And it depends on what agreement you have with the school or the owner of the aircraft. If you want to bill your hours, that's now another different thing from like being in a flight school. That is you just flying to bill your hours. You just do a dry lease with the owner well in the aircraft. But if you're in a flight school, all of this thing is done by the school.
Yes, thank you so much. We have three more questions, but Mustafa first raised his hand, so we'll take Mustafa. Then I also want to acknowledge the presence of the Secretary of Nabatuda and the Law Students Association in the University of the Gambia. She is joining us now. Aissatou Bella Jallo, you're welcome. Okay, Mustafa, please proceed.
Baba ML. I hope I'm visible and audible. So Usman, finally you have seen my face and Touba. I'm around now. So I first have to thank each and every one of you for actually honoring our call. I know like you have to actually take some things of your busy schedules to actually come and grace our occasion. So just like Idrissa mentioned before, we actually have currently a mentorship program, but the mentorship program is actually focused more on the first year students that are coming from the Gambia to actually help them like integrate into the Indian education system, the cultural like adjustment and everything. But now you actually want to widen it up because like Tuba, you have actually caused a problem. The fact that you have mentioned the issue of mentorship and everything. So now people are actually in our DMs now, they are actually telling us now, they are senior students that actually need mentorship with regards to like the field they have actually studied. So I want them to hear it from your mouth, you and Usman. So now that you are actually the ones who actually put me in this position that we have to actually have this mentorship program students. So we will actually want to have people like you on board as well to serve as mentors, and if you can actually link us with others as well in various fields of studies, so that we can actually have them on board because like we know how hard it is. Just like Ceesay mentioned, like some of the causes we are doing, we are not doing it because we have passion for it, but because we have family members who you know they're actually like they want us to do it. But like for them to actually reason, they for actually to listen to us, they actually need to hear from people whom you actually know that they are actually there right now. Like for example, like your case, you're actually like flight outside the at the airport as well, and you have Touba as well, who actually has this data analysis firm in the Gambia. So like having you guys on board will actually be a plus for those students to actually convince their family members like, this is my person, this is the pathway, this is actually someone I'm actually looking up to actually get to this point. So like we would like to have you guys on board and like yeah. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Wad. That was so thoughtful of you as the Education Minister of the 9th Executive Council of the Gambian Students Association in India. So we will now take the question of Miss Aisadubela Jallo if she's still with us. Okay, yeah, Muhammad, we will take you next. We will take you next. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ML for acknowledging my presence. And a very big thank you to GAM-IND for this opportunity for me to be able to learn a lot from you. And yeah, kudos, very big kudos to you all, the association. And I also wanted to register my apologies for not joining early. I had an emergency meeting and then I was in it. I just had to catch up with you people at the latter end of it. I'm so sorry about that. My question actually goes to Mr. Ousman, considering that you have a private pilot license. I wanted to ask you a question, which is if you had the opportunity to change anything in the air travel, what would you change first? If you had the opportunity to change anything in the air travel, let's say in the next 50 years or so, what would be the first thing that will change? And then that will bring us to the challenges that you face. Yeah, the challenges that you face as a private pilot licensed individual. What would be the first thing that you change if you get the opportunity? Thank you.
Thank you, Aisatu. So I wouldn't say what are the challenges I would change in with my license, using my license, but then if I have the power to change one thing, it would be connectivity in Africa, because we don't have as much connectivity in Africa, and then this is because of policies and visa regimes. That is one thing I would change. Like for example, let's say for example, a flight ticket from Banjul to let's say Lagos can cost more than a flight ticket from Banjul to Istanbul, or from Banjul to the UK, or from Banjul to wherever in the Europe. Let's say for example, you can buy a flight ticket from the UK to Morocco. It's way cheaper than flying from Gambia to Morocco. And another thing I've seen, which is very common, is because we don't have connectivity in Africa, you might want to travel within Africa, but you have to travel out of Africa to be able to travel to another country in Africa. Like people use, what is it called, Brussels Airline going to Cameroon. Like they always have to go all the way to Belgium and come back to Africa. Or let's say, for example, you use Turkish Airline from Banjul to Nairobi. You always have to go all the way to Istanbul and come back all the way to Nairobi, which is why do you have to leave the continent to come back to the continent? So I think that is one thing I would change if I have the power to connectivity.
That is so thoughtful. That is so thoughtful of you. I never knew this. Traveling in Africa, within Africa, you will have to go to another country outside Africa to get back to Africa again. Wow. That is so disheartening. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. This is a very common thing in Africa. Like traveling out of Africa to travel to another country in Africa is very common. So because we don't have the connectivity.
Sorry, Ousman, I wanted to say that you should also change the $20 that we pay at the airport. That was my thought.
Yes, yeah, I've seen that quite a few times. I've seen when my friends were going to Kigali, that is Rwanda, they had to fly up to Turkey, then go back to Kigali. So meaning they come up to Asia to go back to Africa. And for us, when we are coming to India here, we also took Turkish Airlines. I've seen a lady who was going to Lagos. She had to come up to Turkey, then take another connecting flight back to the back to the continent. So yeah. that is something else, and I think that is what AVADF Africa Ambassador is all about, and maybe you will take us through that as time goes on. So now we'll take the question from Muhammad Bari before Abubakar, inshallah. So Muhammad, if you are still there, please come up with your question. Muhammad.
Hello,
Yes.
yeah, I was the one that raised my hand. Marrie school. It was my school of right now. But basically, what I just wanted to do, my name is Lamana Ejidala, and then I just wanted to thank
Sorry, sir. You are not quite audible. Can we please you can use another device or maybe send a text.
Huh? What's the right?
Hello. Yes, Abubakar, come. Yes, you please. Welcome.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, very audible now.
Yeah. I said my name is Lamana Ejidala, and then I just want to thank you guys. That is the executive council of GAM-IND Association, our honorable guests, and the host and co-host for making this seminar a possible one and inspire and a possible one that inspire us when it comes to our careers and a lot more. So basically, what I just wanted to ask is about data because I'm someone that is passionate about data. Sadly, I have no question for aviation because all I know about aviation is flying and airlines. Sadly, but yeah, to Marrie. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you two questions or maybe three questions. So the first question is, just as my colleague mentioned earlier, that is Idris Asar, when it comes to our university specifically, like we don't do a lot of practicals when it comes to the university, right? So I want to ask you, what is the roadmap for someone who wants to study data science, right? That is aside from school. That is my first question because we have a lot of people out there in the internet that will tell you like this is what you want to have. This is the language you have to learn first. This is the course you have to do first or whatnot. So I want to ask as somebody who is in the field, who is an expert in the field, what is the roadmap for someone to learn data science? And then my second question is, um, what is the possibility of someone to transition from data analytics to data scientists? Because I think these are two different fields, but they are related though. But what is the possibility of someone from transitioning from data? Oh, Allahu Akbar. What is the possibility of someone transitioning from data analytics to data scientist? Because right now I'm someone that is passionate about data scientists, but currently I think I'm more linked to data analytics because I think it's like easier for me, and then knowing the difference in like the things that you have to learn, especially when it comes to like machine learning, AI, when it comes to data science. So I want to know like what is the possibility and what is the like the roadmap also from transitioning from data analytics to data scientists. So I think these are my two questions. Thank you.
Thank you for those questions. I'll start with the last one, that is data science and data analytics. So data analytics is a subset of data science, is a part of data science. Data science is everything that has to do with data and its science, from its computations to its architecture to its processing. So even the endpoint of it, all these data models, the endpoint of it is to inform decisions, to help in decision making, and that is where you make a report of the final outcomes. Everything surrounding it, including the database management, all fell under data science. So when you are in data science, the other things that you do, either you are only an analyst, you are given information to analyze. That is all you can do. You are not good with other things with data. That is a data analyst. Data analytics is also bigger than just a data analyst. Analytics also involved in data pipeline handling, You can also write data scripts that is going to manipulate information to do what you want to do. So in a nutshell, data science is the big umbrella, and every other thing that you do fall under that or falls under that. So, to your question about how to study data science beyond the university, that is very much possible. And, even us as people in the industries, in the practical world, and also being, heading startup companies, what I do today is to learn every day. It also depends on, what the task is. When people give me information, we want to do this and that. And I have not done that before, but as you speak, I try to begin to imagine what can we do or what can I do to make this possible. Then I'll tell you, yes, this is possible, but I have to do some diggings. Then I'll be able to do that. To answer your question specifically, data today, majority of it is based on SQL. Most of the databases are in SQL today, majority of it. Now, the programming languages that you will use to play with data, Python is very sophisticated. Python can do anything, I will say, in programming. Is the one that I love the most, Python. But you should also learn SQL. SQL is very important because most of the databases are in the SQL environment with Microsoft and time extenders and so many other things. SQL have so many extensions. If you are in academia, like in economics areas, you want to learn data science, normally they make use of Stata and R. R is very good. R is predominantly for statistics. So when people are doing statistics, all that, that's what they do. But if you want to come into the practical science, mostly I advise people to use Python, but also know how to use SQL. Because if the database is in SQL, you must be able to query it. You must be able to know how to write those syntax to get you the calculations and everything that you want. So there are tons of information out there. You can even watch a YouTube video of 5 hours and learn how to do Python with data. There are tons of information out there. Coursera is having it. The Data World website also has a lot of Python things. If you go to, people have different, GitHub. There are GitHub accounts of data scientists where they do a lot of programming and they will dump it there with the data, which you can download and go over it, but you need to learn the basics as well. So you can go into data science beyond the university, but to convince employers to employ you, you have to do projects. Let's say one of the projects you can do, let's say you want to do a political analysis for a political group in Gambia, a political party in Gambia. Let me say NPP, they are the incumbent party. And then you do some projects. Let's say you go back 2021 election results and then the registrations, you manipulate it, you make it beautiful. You find out what exactly is there. What is the beauty in there? What is the intelligence that you are pinpointing from that data? You manipulate that, put it in an endpoint, in a report, whatever reporting tool, Power BI, whatever you want to do. You put that in that and then present it or write it as a project you have done. You can go to different data sets. Let's say our population census. People are saying we have this percentage of female, this, that, this, and that. No, the census is more than that. Go to the whole data set of the census, bring it out, play with it, get an information that people want to know in different constituencies, in different administrative areas, in different age groups, in different employment categories, different standings, different employment rates and all that. Put that into an intelligence insight, and it helps in informed decision making very easy. So when you do that, you write that as a project that you do. Now, when you apply for a job at a company, they are looking for a data analyst or scientist. You come and tell them, hey, I know this is a finance company, or this is a political group or so. I've done projects in this area. I think I can solve your problems. I think I can do this. I think I can provide answers, quick answers in a blink of an eye. Or we want to know how many people are registered in Basse area that are about like 18 to 30 years. You say, oh yeah, I can do that. You go to IEC's website, pull down the information, write programs to do those analysis, because at the end of the day, information data is to help in decision making, is to help give accurate information out there that is just going to ease our tasks and our affairs. So you can do all these things and then, do hands-on projects. That is what is going to build a good career for you. Do a lot of hands-on projects, and even if you apply the jobs, it becomes easy for you to get the job. But if you just learn the theories and memorize definitions here and there, it's not going to help, because in the real world, nobody cares about definitions. They want you to do the projects and the work. So I'll keep it at that unless you have a follow-up question. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Marrie, that was really good. That was really good. Thank you so much for that. It really, I know now is convinced by now. So Abubakar raised his hand, but before, if he still has any question, you can come up. But then, but before that, Idrissa, if you have something to share with us, you can.
Okay, Mr. Mulaminteng. I also have a question though, but this question is, am I audible?
Yes, very well.
Okay, I have a question, but this one is directed to Marrie, right? There's this question that always runs in my mind. What is the salary margin between a software developer and a data scientist? I mean, as most of us are from, poor background, so obviously, the money is important. So what is the salary margin between a software developer, as I am a software developer, and what is the salary margin between a software developer and a data analyst?
I think that's the question for me, right?
Yeah, the question is directed to you, Mr. Touba.
Well, you are talking about money. I can say the best answer to that is situation dependency. So generally, a software developer will be paid more because you are saying a data analyst. If you say a data scientist, let's say a data architects are paid a lot of money because whatever information the company runs on, including the softwares and everything, people who control that information, people who pass the intelligence on that information are called data architects. So in the data architect, that also falls on the data science. But if you are a software developer, it's all situation dependency. If you are a starter, you cannot be paid at the same salary margin as someone, a data scientist who is at a mid-senior level. But if you're a software developer, as a senior, you will probably get paid more than a data scientist who is at the same level. But also depends on projects and so many different things. So you can all get a good, decent salary. But generally, I would say software developer is expected to get paid more, but not much of a difference. But if you say just an analyst is an analyst. So that is not much of a work to do if you want. But if you're a data scientist who handles beyond analysis, who builds pipelines, who makes sure the data doesn't crack, who makes sure you hold all the information together that the company depends on, that is a high stake job. And that means you will be paid a lot of money. Also depends on projects. People sometimes will call you and tell you, hey, we need this and that, and you charge them maybe $50,000. But at $50,000, you can do that job in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, how much is $50,000? That's about 3 point something million. So in 2 weeks, you get that money in analysis. But if you are also a full-timer, you are not going to get paid. The company will ask you to do those jobs for them because you are hired. Whether you work or not, you still get paid. So it's a lot of, it's all situation dependency. It's all situation dependency. But the general information is that if you're a software developer, depending on the level, you get paid accordingly. So that's my response to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So it's like, I'm on track. And according to Ousman Ceesay, he said like money will come. Money will come.
Yes, money will definitely.
Money will definitely come. There's time for everything, even looking for money. There's time because you need to build the foundation for that money. If the foundation for gaining that money is not strong, you are just interested in money. At some point, people will build greater foundations, do better works, and then maybe your supply will and it will be diverted to those who can do better than you. I have always been very content with what I can do and what I have. I remember someone that I didn't know he's from Vlog Village in Fonyi Benefit. It was in 2011 when, I don't know, it was 3 days to go before the Champions League final between Barcelona and Manchester United. Of course, United were humbled by the Spanish Giants at the time. But I met this guy and we were just talking about football. He's an old guy. He told me, Ndoge, if I'm going to advise you, always be content with what you have. Your teacher told me that you are a smart guy. They are expecting so much from you. He told me, don't look at the rich people. Don't look at people driving these big cars. Trust me. If you do the work now, pay attention to your studies, do your research, do everything that people expect you to do, and then signal it and be on that path, someday, because you're going to become a master on your own. Of course, no man is an island, but at least with content, money will come and the future is bright for you. So I say, wherever I see myself and all that, I always remember that, that advice from Alpha Jame, even though today I don't know where he is, but whenever I go to that village, I'll try to visit him and remind him of what he told me 14 years ago has now come to light. So I will pass the same advice to you. Money will come, pay attention to what you are doing today and give it your all. You'll be fine.
Yes, money will definitely come, and that was really interesting. Yeah. So before we invite Sajo AK Jaja and Abubakar Bojang, I think they're the last on the line. So Isabella Jallo, actually Usman made mention of being an aviation lawyer. So you might want to draft a question later on and ask, or if you have any comments to make on that, or if you feel like you want to go into the aviation sector or being a lawyer. So maybe you can do that. So before that, we move to Abubakar Bojang. I think he has been here quite a while now. Then Sajo will come and we will take it we will close it from there, I guess.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I hope I'm audible. Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody here. It's indeed a pleasure and a honor to be here. Thank you so much, the moderators, and also Mr. Ousman, Ceesay, and Touba Marrie. Touba Marrie, it's indeed an honor to be with you here. Your name have been resonating with hundreds of Nusratarians ever since you stepped your foot in Nusrat. And still, people like me have been aspiring to hear your voice, to see you, and Alhamdulillah, the opportunity have come today. So I just have 3 questions that I would like to pose to you directly, and they will be this. My name is Abubakar Bojang. I am studying Bachelor's of Computer Science, that is BCA in Kusheta University here. And I want to be a data scientist. So on behalf of everybody and myself, I want to ask 3 questions. Number 1, what is data science? Can you please tell us in detail what is data science? Because maybe, let's say, at first when I wanted to be a data scientist, I went to YouTube, start searching what is data science about. You have different people, bringing different ideas. So can you please tell us what is data science? That is the first question. And the other question is, if you want to be a data science as a green leaf, a person like me, I'm in my first year, what are the steps to take in order to be a data scientist? What are the steps to follow? And the third question will be, what are the things that you should give priority to in order to be a data scientist? Because I believe there are many aspects, in the field of, towards going to the field of data science, there are many fields that you should put into consideration. But what are the things that you should give priority to in order to be a data scientist? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Boya. You said Abubakar Boya, and thank you. It's good to hear from you as well. Going to Nusrat was a great experience, and then Alhamdulillah, teachers are still talking about you. That means I wasn't all that a bad boy. So it wasn't all good and dandy when I was at Nusrat, not academically. I mean, I was a very stubborn student, but that's the original me. And then coming to your question about what is data science, but what is data in the first place? Data is information. A single unit of information is called datum. But a lot of it, the plural is called data. So whatever human activity that we do, even today, what we are doing this seminar, we can derive data from it. The people who hosted this very seminar can go on to tell us, oh, we have about 100 people who were present at the seminar. 70 of those are Gambians in India, 10 are from the United States, others are from here, this and that. Then, but how would that data help us next time? Is that, oh, okay, given that we have a lot of people from here, there, and there, given the time difference and so on, maybe it will be important to have this information session at this time, at this hour, on this day. So because of the activity, because of the data generated, it is able to inform our next session. So data science is pretty much the science that studies information in every human activity and help people make informed decisions. That is the basic definition of it, be it finance, be it engineering, be it any type of engineering, be it politics, be it whatever, be it the population, whatever you do generates information. It is because this century is a day of science and technology. So scientists want to use their programming skills, they want to use computer science, they want to use mathematics and all kind of theories that are there that is related to information processing to help people have that information in ways that are easily readable and I would say user friendly because if I write digits that are more than 10 and so on, getting into billions and millions and all that, you give it to a layman, it will be very difficult for them to read it. This billion, this million, this thousand, this hundred, and these units here and there. But if I put that in a visual form and you put it in a pie chart or you put it in a box to box visualization, they will be able to see and say, oh, this part is bigger, then that will constitute the billion. This is the second biggest, that will be the billion. Followed by this, that is going to be the thousand. And then you will have the hundreds and then the tens and the units. That is information visualizing. So all those things fall under data science. So data science, I already defined it, the science of processing information, the science of making information user-friendly, but also the science of truth and honesty. That's about data. So that when people lie and say, oh, we have 4 billion people in Gambia, you're like, that is not true. We have 4 billion. If you are interested in the law of it, if you are interested um, in the finance of it, if you are interested in the engineering of it, even at the airport, there is so much data generated by travelers, daily people who travel, daily people who arrive, the planes that leave. So all that information need to be processed, and then it can be used by the decision makers. But first, it has to be processed by the data scientists, the data analysts, the data analytics, and all the people who work within that environment to make so we have correct information that can be available to our executives, the decision makers, and then they can make decisions accordingly. So I think in a nutshell, that's about it. Unless something is not answered because you asked 3 questions, you can remind me, and I'm happy to tell you what I know.
Yes, data-driven decision making. I've done that a lot, this semester in IoT, in the Industrial Internet of Things. So that would take us to the question from Sajo, aka Jaju. Mr. President, you're welcome.
Yes, may I confirm my audibility? I'm actually using an I wouldn't say journey. We're on a celebration here for our Gambian students that are in Maharashtra. They're having their sports week, and I'm here to celebrate it with them. So any of you could join us in that celebration. So at some point, I've kind of locked out. Anyway, to business, I have a question, and I think I'd give it kind of a preamble, and that is, I've got this classmate who actually is our host tonight, and who is also an aeronautical engineering student. Funny enough, he says he got a bit discouraged about becoming a pilot the moment we started learning about air crashes and the moment we started watching videos that have to do with crashes. So tell me, to Mr. Ceesay, I mean, does that fear really hold many aeronautical engineers back from pursuing a career in the cockpit? So by the cockpit, I know those in the aeronautical domain would understand what I meant to say. And if that stands, what advice would you give to someone like him? I'm referring to MLJ indirectly. So, Mr. Ceesay, thank you very much.
You, Sajo. So I was hearing you 50-50, but I could pick some of the things you were saying. If I can hear you well, you said your roommate or your schoolmate is doing aeronautical engineering, but he got like a bit scared and because of what crashes and all of those things. So those things do happen, but then in life, what happens is people do certain things that would help them overcome their fears. I think the best thing he can do is if there was a flight school in India where you guys are, he could go on a discovery flight. What I mean by a discovery flight is once you're interested in aviation or in flying, once you go to a flight school, the first thing you do is a discovery flight. So it's just you pay an hour flight or you find a way. Sometimes some schools they do it for free, but most of the schools they charge for it. So wherein he can fly with one of the pilots and he will be his co-pilot and he will be given controls, he will fly and everything, and they will land back. This is one of the ways that people get to overcome those fears. Even in flight school, if you ever get into a crash or have an engine failure, you're just taken back immediately to the aircraft to fly again to overcome that fear. I hope that answers the question because I couldn't hear clearly what you were saying.
Yes, Mr. Ousman, I think that was it for him. So if this webinar was a flight phase, so we started from taking off, we cruised at some point. It was really great. It was really electrifying. So we've done the approach phase. So meaning here now we are on the final approach towards the end. So I will just give like Mr. Ousman to do a final approach briefing with like an ATC that type of communication.
So I would say let's use Banjul since we are all from the Gambia. I would say Banjul Tower. This is under the registration, the country registration for Gambia for Gambian aircrafts. Like we have number plates with BJL. So for aircraft C5, wherever you see a registration of an aircraft with C5, it's from the Gambia. So I would say Banjul Tower 5, Charlie 5, Alpha Bravo Yankee, on final approach runway 14.
Okay, thank you so much, Roger, that captain. Copied. Thank you so very much, Mr. Ousman. And also, I think maybe. Okay.
Pardon, Molamin.
You wanted to say something?
No, I was gonna say the video I wanted to show you guys.
Yes.
For some of the guys that are not on my social media.
Yes.
But I have to share my screen. Let me try to.
Yes, please do. Please do. Isaac Rubella, while he's trying to share his screen, you were thinking of a question to ask or a comment. You're welcome. And Mr. Touba, in case you have anything as a final takeaway, you're also welcome.
Is it my turn to ask questions?
Yes, let's okay. Now what we're going to do is, Mr. Touba, we'll take Isaac's question and the presentation from Ousman, then we will come to you.
Okay, I just wanted to say, ML, Mohamed Lamin, you've actually ignited a very big childhood dream of mine of becoming a flight flight. Okay, somebody that flies a plane. I don't even know how to call it, a pilot. But then this dream was actually cut short because I've been hearing rumors that were like women are not allowed to fly planes. They can, okay, I was told you can, okay, be a flight attendant. And then I was like, no, I cannot settle for that. So I just had to let go of this dream and then get to the law field. But then since you said something like, I think Mr. Ousman presented or talked about something like being an aviation lawyer. So I wanted to ask, what is the most common sector or the most common legal issue in the aviation sector? Is it about safety of pilots or international regulations of planes? And yeah, what is the most common legal issue in the aviation sector? I would want to know that. And what challenges do you think a woman can face in the aviation sector? I would like to venture into that since it's brought up. I never knew that was that was in existence. But then since you've mentioned about it, I would like to know about that, please. The most common legal issue in the aviation sector, and what challenges do you think a woman can face in trying to address these issues? Thank you.
Okay, so I would say it's still not too late to become a pilot. You can always become a pilot. And to answer your question, I wouldn't say the most common issue. The most common thing that lawyers do in aviation is to bring up new laws, because each country has their territory and then the adjacent waters to it. That's what we call their airspace. So there's this laws that protect the airspace, and also when we like, so for example, I mentioned the Gambia Civil Aviation having a flight safety department. So when we draft like the aviation regulations, we do that. We call it the GCAS, the Gambia Civil Aviation Regulations. When we do that, we have a lawyer who takes this to AG chambers and they work on it. There's that also, and then there is another thing that aviation lawyers do. We call it air service agreements. Let's say, for example, Gambia want to have an air service agreement with Senegal. It's the legal aviation legal expert who's gonna take up these things. There are some air transport legal stuff that they're supposed to do, that both countries are supposed to agree on. So the legal person is mostly responsible for that. So that's the most common thing that aviation lawyers do. And then now you have some aviation lawyers working for airlines. So they would do all the things to do with consumer protection, because what happens is most of the time you have customers suing the airlines. All of those things do happen, depending on what is happening with crashes and stuff. We've seen a whole family, families that have sued Boeing and then they won the case. So there are all those things. There are lawyers who protect those companies, and then there are lawyers who draft regulations. There are lawyers who draft those air service agreements for the countries as well. So let's say, for example, the Gambia Civil Aviation has lawyers who are responsible for doing these things. They would consult with the air transport experts, and then they're also experts in aviation law. And then we also have something called air law. Like I said, each country has their own airspace, their own territory, how they protect it, and how they want people to fly in it. So these are also what aviation lawyers do.
Yes,
Thank you very much for that question and for the encouragement. We'll try and see if we can venture into that. Okay, so that brings me to the second question. I know you people would be fed up with me, my questions, but this is an opportunity for me to learn. So I wanted to ask, what university would you recommend for that aviation law? Because currently I don't think it's accessible in the Gambia. We don't have that in the Gambia here. So what university would you recommend for that?
For aviation law, I'm not sure, but I can do some research for you, and you can just contact me. We can both do our research and see. But most of the time is people do their what do they call LLB and LLM, and then they now do some of these professional trainings on the side to complement that. That also is it what I've seen with the Gambia Civil Aviation and other civil aviation authorities. And then I think there's something with there's a UK university which is partnering with the International Civil Aviation Organization that is offering masters in air law. But I'll also do some research on that for you as well. I've put my contacts, and you can contact Mustafa. He has my number as well. So anytime you have a question, you can just ask.
All right, no problem about that. Thank you so much. This is really appreciated.
Yeah, you're welcome. So let me just
Yes.
project my screen to see if I can put the video up there.
Yes, Mr. Touba Marrie, whilst Ousman is trying to settle with that, yeah, we would like to hear from you one last one, a takeaway or a closing remark you would like to give us. Oh, I think, okay. Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I was actually going to text Mustafa quickly that I'm about to go. My time is up. It's great being with all of you here. This is an important session. It's an important knowledge session, and I will encourage you guys to, do this kind of webinars once a while. If you can do it once a month or whatever time you deem necessary and important. It's good to engage among ourselves. We are all students at the end of the day. Whether you're working or whatever you're doing, you are still in the learning curve of doing stuff. So sharing experiences, sharing what we know, Usman and I think that's important. Mr. Usman, it's also good being with you here. The students in India, I will tell you, just continue striving. Pay money now is important every day, but your own will come later in big amounts that you won't be able to count for sure. But the most important thing is sharpening your skills today, sharpen them very well to make you the best in your area. So, you can dream big, and I'm sure you will have that. Mentorship is important. Without a mentor, you will usually just be a headless chicken. You would not have a direction. So talk to people who have more experience, verify information, do your research, do your due diligence, and you'll be fine. On that note, yep, I want to say thank you to the organizers and Mustafa for bringing me on board. Until I am with you again, I want to say bye for now. This is Touba Marrie.
Yes, thank you so much, Touba Marrie. That was really good. Okay, Mr. Ousman, you can do your presentation, share your takeaway with us, and we have it at that. It's not quite audible, but then the visual is there. Maybe if there is a setting that you need to correct.
It wasn't audible.
Right, it wasn't audible. Now it's good. Now it's good.
Let me check
It was
again.
just the yeah, it was just the visual, but then it's okay.
Clear for takeoff right to now, Sierra Kilometer. Ground 5 Sierra Kilometer.
5 Yankee Sierra Yankee Romeo ground.
Sierra Yankee Romeo requesting startup as 5 HKKV and back to Nairobi Wilson. We are to board with 3 hours endurance.
5 Yankee Sierra Yankee Romeo starting up. Please finish 1022.
That is proof 1022 and we'll be routing via the service access lane.
Confirm southeast. Roger.
Lo estaba Fabian quisiera kilómetros.
Kilometer apprendre 1.8.
Sierra kilometers from the way we are ready copy ETC.
Stand by for ETC.
Stand by for ETC. That is clear.
Alpha thank you, Sierra kilometer cleared by the southeast access lane control via far at 6,200 feet, KNH 1021.
Sierra kilometer cleared by the southeast access lane control via far 6,200 km of 1021.
Thank you, Sierra kilometer ETC rebuild. Thank you, Sierra kilometer. Time is 11 knots. Clear for takeoff right and out.
Clear for takeoff right and out, Sierra kilometer. Power, brakes holding. Power is sufficient. Release brakes in duties and visa in the green. Speed is allowed with increases. Time. 40, coming up. 50. Intersections clear. 55. And 65. Rotate. Positive rates of climb. Brakes on and off. Landing lights off. Army discharge. Instruction is good. Andretta 5 Yankee Sierra Yankee Romeo.
5 Yankee Sierra Yankee Romeo.
Sierra Yankee Romeo request zone transit southeast access lane.
Approved southeast at 6,200 feet, KNH 1021, report twin bridges.
Approved 1021 next twin bridges, Yankee Romeo.
Correct, everybody Kenya 415, descent flight level 100 cleared for the ILS approach at 06, Jim 12.
And with that, Ousman was just airborne, as you all can see. So we will just leave Ousman to give his final words. Then we have it at that.
So I hope everybody that here is motivated, and I wouldn't add much. What I would say is, if I can do it, everybody here can do it. So there's nothing to be scared of. Just believe in yourself, focus, and be consistent. Thank you very much.
Yes, that was quite powerful. Thank you very much, everyone, for those thoughtful and engaging questions, and of course to our amazing speakers for taking the time to share such valuable insights. I must say today's session has truly been a journey across STEM and aviation, and I believe we are all living with a clearer vision and renewed inspirations. As we move toward the end of this enlightening program, it's my honor now to invite the Secretary General of the Gambian Students Associations in India to give the closing remarks. Mr. Moses Dawasin.
Thank you, Mr. Jang, and good evening to you all, and special greetings to our well-knowledgeable guest speakers here, Mr. Ceesay and Mr. Touba. Indeed, everyone here, I believe, would agree with me that this was another interesting, educating, and interactive session, as we received vast knowledge from our incredible, iconic, and well-experienced guest speakers. Everyone here, I believe, has learned something, and even more than expected, being it on piloting, aeronautical engineering, mentorship, trusting on our own abilities, and in career purchase. This, I believe, was not just a session for aeronautical or computer engineering students, but rather everyone, regardless of the field of studies. So as we now conclude this enlightening STEM webinar, on behalf of the 9th Executive Council, I would like to extend a heartfelt gratitude to our exceptional speakers for sharing their expertise and insights on this educative session. And to our moderators, Mr. Jeng and Sar. Wow. Everyone can bear with me that this was a well-organized and well-inspiring webinar. To cut it short, Jambar Ngen, Amle Moron, and our ever-cooperative members, and as well, all who have joined from the Gambia and other parts of the world. This wouldn't be possible without you all. Your engagement, curiosity, and enthusiasm have made this webinar truly special. You all are bright stars that always motivate us to go the extra miles for this association. So as we conclude this webinar tonight, let us carry the momentum forward and put all knowledge and lessons gained tonight into practice. For we are the future, and remember, the future starts right today. So with that, I would conclude and wish you all a good night. Back to you, Mr. MC, Secretary General, Association of Gambian Students in India, 9th Executive Council, Moses Thomason. Thank you all.
Yes, Mr. Moses, the secretary of this association. So I'm giving this floor to Idrissa Sarr to finally call it a night. Good night from my ends. It was Modla Jeng.
Okay, I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who leave everything they were doing to join, and I hope at the end of the day, we all live with something. I mean, at the end of the day, we reflect, we reflect everything that was said by our honorable guest. So, with that being said, we call it a day. Thank you all.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.